uh, recent COP28 meeting. Small concepts are there which are very important. CCU, CCS, and CDR. All these are fundamentally carbon dioxide removal or utilization words. Carbon dioxide, greenhouse gas affects the environment a lot. So, to make sure that the emissions are controlled and the environment is more protected, these terms are very, very important with respect to environment and science and a lot of other topics with respect to UPSC. So let's look at the first word, CCU. It means fundamentally you have to, okay, for you to remember very easily, let's look at CC. CC fundamentally means carbon capture. So you're capturing carbon. After capturing carbon, you do whatever you want. That's a different volume. But first you have to capture carbon. So CCU fundamentally means carbon capture at the source and you reutilize the carbon. You capture the carbon and reutilize the carbon. And all that at the source itself, where source means the place where the carbon dioxide is getting produced. That process is called CCU. So it is reused at the source itself. Usually this carbon is fossil carbon. Carbon dioxide, fossil removal and all that. Therefore, CCU is one point. Now moving on, more than CCU, for the COP meet, these two words have been on the primary source. Therefore, we need to know more about this for this year. Prelims, see please remember this is prelims definite question. Therefore, these three words are very, very important. So moving on, let's look at it. So decision was taken at COP28 at Dubai. Refer to it. Please remember this word abatement. So abate in English fundamentally means to stop. Abate means to stop or regulate or reduce. And removal of carbon emissions using carbon capture CCR, CCS and CDR technologies. Now please remember these two are fundamentally technologies of carbon removal. So according to the COP28 meet, to reduce the greenhouse gas emissions and reduce carbon dioxide, these two technologies have been told to be utilized by all the countries. That is the essence of the news. So before we go ahead, you have to understand this word unabated. So I told you abate means to stop. So unabate means it is continuing. So unabated fossil fuels, what do you mean by this? See, these words are very important. When you write your answer, these words should definitely fall in your answer. That is very important. So unabated means doing nothing to reduce carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases that are released from the burning of coal, oil and natural gas. You know, when these are burnt, lot of greenhouse gases, GHGs, are produced and carbon dioxide is one of them. So till now, fossil fuels has been the major source of fuel and energy for a lot of countries. Therefore, what are we doing about them is the whole story. So first let's look at CCS method. What happens is carbon capture and storage. So the word itself tells you that you have to capture carbon and then store it. So what happens is refers to the technologies that can capture carbon dioxide, the source of emissions, before it is released into the atmosphere. So let's say this is the source where the carbon dioxide is getting released. You will not let this go into the atmosphere itself. You will, the minute it is released, it is captured and stored. That process is called carbon capture and storage. The highlight is, please remember, before it is released into the atmosphere. So the prelims questions which might pop up is, they will give you a question on carbon capture. So, and the keywords are before releasing, after releasing, in the atmosphere. These are the three different kinds of words they can ask you. and then they'll present a question to you on all the three terms. So you must understand the nuance or the minor differences between these two. So carbon capture and storage refers to technologies that can capture carbon dioxide at the source before it is released into the atmosphere. So what are the sources where the carbon dioxide comes? Is burning of coal, oil and gases. The word itself says fossil fuels. So you know, and industrial processes like steel and cement production. So these are the major sources from where the gases are released. So before they release, they are captured and stored very safely. What is the process for it? First, they capture the carbon dioxide which is produced, step 1. They transport the carbon dioxide and then they store it deep underground, they store it. These are the three major processes which are involved in capturing the carbon dioxide through carbon capture and storage method. The storage usually they can put it deep underground, or they can, you can also do something like this. Artificial machines can be created. Artificial machines can be created which act as trees. This is the new trend right now. Creation of artificial machines which have the ability to capture, see, the basic funda is when a tree is there, for example, a tree is there, you know that tree releases oxygen during the day and it releases carbon dioxide during night. So this is during daytime and it pulls in carbon dioxide during the night time. It pulls in carbon dioxide during the daytime. So during the daytime, trees release oxygen and pull in carbon dioxide. So they act as storages for carbon dioxide. During night time, they release carbon dioxide and take in oxygen for their photosynthesis. This is a fundamental function of a tree. So now the modern technology has brought out new machines in such a way that this function of capturing carbon dioxide will be done by those machines. So for carbon capture and storage, this is a new trend which is being followed. Artificial machinery which is being formed to capture carbon dioxide and store it deep underground. And you can, usually this deep underground usually will be with trees or plants or any of these things. So this is what you have to understand. Right. Moving on. The next part, CDS, carbon dioxide, CDR, carbon dioxide removal uses technologies, practices and approaches to remove carbon dioxide from the air. So here the carbon dioxide has already reached the air or atmosphere. From them you pull it down, capture it and then remove it. So the difference there is, there at the point of release only, in the previous technology, at the point of release only you capture the carbon dioxide and store it down. But this one, carbon dioxide removal is whatever carbon dioxide has already gone up, you capture it from the atmosphere and then you store it. And then you remove it or store it on whatever you want you do. So this is remove carbon dioxide from the atmosphere through deliberate and intentional actions of human actions. So CDR captures carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, locks it away for years in plants, soils, ocean, rocks and saline aquifers, depleted oil wells or long lives. So this is a major point that you have to remember. The concept is that, what do? They pull in from the atmosphere, carbon dioxide is pulled out and stored in trees, plants, aquifers, all the places where the carbon dioxide can be stored, they pull it directly from the atmosphere and then store it. Previously, before they release, they capture, they store it. Here, after releasing, they capture and they store it. That is a major difference between CDS and CDR. You have to understand this difference. So, it can be through afforestation or reforestation, that is one way of doing it, and storing mimic trees by absorbing carbon dioxide and storing underground. Now, for example, enhanced weathering systems and BEC energy, bioenergy with carbon fuels, this is the new technique which is being applied. Now, according to some practices, they have done some research in Germany. In Germany, they found out that the CCS technique is not very much useful because the problem is the storing part has become a problem. Now, as on today, As on today, if that is the case, they say through CCS, they've already stored about 860 billion tons of carbon dioxide already stored. So this is the issue. So you have to remember this part. And then, so this is it. So again I repeat, carbon dioxide removal, this is the method. And here, as I told you, from the atmosphere, store trees, plants, saline, aquifers, etc. There, before the industry is releasing, you capture it and store it underground. That is a fundamental difference. And CCU, as I said, it is carbon capture and utilization. So these three terms, this is carbon capture, you capture it and reutilize it for some purposes. CCS, you capture it before the release, store it. CDR, you go up, bring it down, store it in trees, plants and aquifers. So that is a fine difference. These words have been popularly used in COP28 meeting. Therefore, they are very, very important.